now. Okay, so should just be able to run on that against that IP, because it does 9042 as that exception message printed out when the connection timed out. So we should get a connection now at least, and then it should error out on the dumb test that I'm doing at least. All right, let's see here. Where am I at? I'm lost. There I am. Okay. So, get everybody back up to speed here. I'm going crazy. That's what it is. So, I just also realized that there's a beaver in the background of this very colorful background for Ubuntu. That's kind of trippy. But let's get into it. Meh. All right, so here's the objectives of what I'm going to try to knock out today. Whether I get to those will be seen as I work through the things. A little frustrated because I was trying to get some of the stuff resolved and yeah, it wasn't happening. So, starting point. The goals for today are going to be, let's see here, a look at some of the Docker setup for RDBMSs that I set up. I'm also going to talk through some of the issues that I've run into and how to resolve some of those. Look into GCP DSE's marketplace setup. Then we'll set up some environment variables to to use in code, etc. Then we'll review the firewall settings for GCP and the public private IP of the cluster to get that figured out. Then let's see, we need to verify the connection tests, and yeah. So, and then if I can get to it, we're gonna get logging actually put in there, added. That's gonna be about it. I might do some minor refactoring or etc. So that's what I'm gonna work from. Nothing real fancy there. Let's here, make that bold, and that is gonna be today's efforts. I'm putting this in a wiki page from now on, so I'll have one for each of the sessions, the coding sessions here. That might be useful. I don't know. Might not be. We shall see, though. I'm going to start doing it for a while, and we'll get that figured out. So I created a cluster earlier following a process that I had used in one of the first streams. I basically went out and created a cluster using the marketplace in GCP, which is just, let's see, marketplace. Somewhere it's, there it is, very top. So just go in, type in data stacks. That's going to give me the two options. I can use Kubernetes, virtual machines. I set up with virtual machines. Gives you some various options whenever you click on launch. And I did this, left everything else the same, and just created it from this point. And now I have, if I scroll down, I have a, did I pass compute? There's compute. You can actually look at the instances that are created for this cluster, and it's just Op Center and just one node in the cluster for right now, just for this test. Also, there's the IPs here. There's this external IP, that external IP, and I've also gone in to VPC network, to the firewall rules, and I've already set up my firewall to allow those ports to be used. Oops. I think that's the key parts of that are set up. Let's go back to Compute Engine and look at that just for a second. So like I was saying, this is the internal IP and the external IP. If I go back over, if you have gcloud installed, you can go back to Deployment Manager. That's what it's called. I'm going to actually tab that to keep it up at the top from now on, because we'll be using that a number of times. There it is. Pin it, and there it goes. So now I got Marketplace and Deployment Manager right where I want them. So here's my single node cluster deployment, single node cluster deployment, and it shows the password for the admin account, the Cassandra account, shows me how I can pipe in using SSH in the browser window. Like if I click this, it just pops me open in a SSH terminal in the browser. If I do use another one or view gcloud command, it'll pop this up, which is also basically this deal. So if I copy that, okay, so there I'm into the machine right there. But if I close that and actually open up just a regular terminal, I can do this and get logged into the same thing. And then I actually have a real terminal too, which is sometimes a little bit more useful. But anyway, getting out of that. I think I've covered the bases there. So anyway, that's set up for use. And another thing that we'll need, because I'm going to refactor a little bit so that I'm not using password and username and all that kind of stuff in the code, I'm going to actually set some environment variables. So let's use code to edit the bash RC to set some environment variables for this particular executing session. So I'm going to say export, and I'll call it, let's see here, things popping up at me. There we go. Okay. I'm going to call this DSC6 admin username. And then just admin, then export. Let's see, DSC6 admin password. And it's going to be, I don't know, something. Let's here go export DSC6 username. And then export DSC6 password. And this is for the regular user. The other one's for the admin account. So this is going to be, whoops, Cassandra. And then I'll grab the passwords here for Cassandra. And then admin. Take out the white space or empty space, whatever. It's really just invisible space, not anything but. And I'm going to, okay, that stuff is set. So now I can close this. Actually, let's do one more. Oh, and let's fix this spelling. Export. There we go. And then I'm going to do export cluster. Whoops. Let's see. What do we call it? What's the? It's called contact point. Contact point, like that. And then we'll put in the IP, right? So I'll go over here. I think what I did last time was just snag this external IP, copied that, and I'll just put that in. There we go. All right, so all that good stuff should be out of the way. Let's close that. And there we go. And then I also wanted to go, all right, bash, close. Now we're going to source it. And now if I echo one of those variables out, oops, my clicking is not very accurate today. There we go. DSC6. I don't know. Oops. Casing. DSC6. I called it admin username just to check. There we go. Okay, so that I'm going to trust that the rest of them are spelled right for the time being. All right, and then go into my code directory. Move into the project. Pull a git status in case anybody's contributed anything. I'm going to check it out. So I'm going to pull any changes. Looks okay. Check remote branches. Do I got anything new? Adding Docker containers. Next steps. Nothing that I'm going to mess with right now. So clear that. And then let's open up code. And we'll talk about some of this Docker stuff. So what I did to give myself some quick access to additional databases is I've actually trimmed down the Docker Compose from what I did in the previous video, and I took some of the other stuff out anyway, and then just ended up with these two. So I have two relational databases in here, one Postgres and one SQL Server, and I'm doing this just to provide some reference example of how to move data from these sources to Cassandra, and also later on down the line, we'll do some query samples between SQL versus CQL, or SQL versus SQL, and just kind of do a one-to-one comparison about how it works in some situations and how it doesn't work in other situations, and how you need to kind of basically port your queries. All right, and then I have some basic scripts I added, like the Docker pull, which just pulls your doc images for those two things. And then startup just does the Docker Compose up. So if I run that right now, if I move into local infrastructure, I say Docker, or I'll just run my script, startup, boom. It should run those two databases. So now I can do Docker compose, PS, and it'll show those running. If I do Docker PS, it shows them running with the Docker CLI interface with the weird non-wrapped stuff or wrapped stuff. Anyway, so those are there running those two databases. They're at basically ZZZ port 3456 and 1433, the assumed normal ports that are used for those respective relational databases. So I'm not going to do too much more with those right now, but I am going to go ahead and open up in Jetbrains Rider the actual solution. It's generally a little bit better for me. I like using Rider because it just offers the autocomplete, fills out the things, gives me more insight into what I did or didn't do right, especially from the context of like what's considered good C# today versus ages ago or whatnot. So this is pretty much in the same state that I left it from the last session, but I'll cover the ground a little bit, or recover that ground a little bit. Here's the object I made to set up the connection. We have username, password, and contact point. We're using DSC plain text auth provider to connect to the cluster up in Google Cloud Platform. And then it just tries a connection, either works or doesn't, throws an exception, errors out. And then I have some tests over here that currently I just have marked all to false. So if I run them all, they should pass because none of this connection information is correct. All right, so that passes. Now, one of the things I want to do, let's see here, I'm just going to write a test for it, just because it'll be quick and easy to do it this way to verify it. I want to be able to get the environment variables, get environment variable to, let's see here, exists correctly or something like that. Now this isn't really a unit test that I would write, but I'm just doing it right here just to provide an example and also to get the code figured out for how to pull something from an environment variable in C#. So I think it's something like environment, yeah, there we go, dot variable get, there we go, get environment variable, not just variable. And then, yep. All right, so it was DSC 6 admin username, and then that's your man, I don't, whatever that thing is always getting in my way. Variable admin username equals semicolon, and let's see here, assert and we're gonna have, what was it, just admin, it should equal to the variable. So let's see if that gives us what we wanted. Oh, does not. What did we get? So it's actually null. So let's hear, what else All right. That's what I get for trying to remember that off the top of my head. That's your .NET core get environment variable. What the variables? That's some poor Googling right there. Oh, this one looks sort of useful. Let's hear running as. Oh, that's what they used. Remove. This will. Your problem is around the equal. Oh. Hello, Jeffrey. Morning or evening. Why? That's. Hey, look, I'm on Stack Overflow. Yo. Oh, what about this? What's this? Oh, no. Let's see here. C#, .NET Core, CLI, environment variable. Oh, this looks more promising. What .NET Core? Let's do 2.0. What is this? Description, options. Oh, I want 2.1. I do want the latest thing. This is weird. What am I looking at? Oh, this is the. Maybe that's not a good search either. Just getting started with this on the command line. Do we have an example in here? No, that's just some Fibonacci magic. And I've always found it super weird that there's usually not a lot of use the environment variables among .NET stuff. I guess it's because of Windows, but let's see here. .NET Core environment variables configuration, maybe. Use, that's probably not right either. Yeah, this is what I want to do. I don't want those either. Oh, you can add JSON configuration. I don't want the configuration. I just want. Oh, this is a freaking mess. All right. So in-memory provider and binding to POCO configuration. Oh, I'm gonna curse. Accessing environment variables in C#. Isn't that what I just did? That's what I've. New directory environment info. What is that current directory? Environment.get variable. Environment.get environment variable. Do I have to seed it somehow? I have system up here, so I don't need to do system dot da 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 da. Maybe if I do var variables equal environment dot get environment variables like that. And then let's just stop on it and we'll debug this sucker. So build, oh, those fast builds, let me tell you. That is correct. Variables is not used. There we go. Variables, 148 variables. There's a bunch of stuff in here. So is it in here? I don't see it yet. I don't see it anywhere. This is super pissing me off. Why can't you work like all the other freaking languages in the universe? We'll figure it out. That's what we'll do. All right, so that didn't work out either. Admin username is admin DSE6 admin username, and none of them are even in there. Is that? Oh, I'm not even going to look at that right now. It's all about this one thing. How do we get variables? Yeah, that's not environment variables. Environment variable target. Machine. Do I have to set the target? Get set. Oh, so I'm using a set. No, that's set. Set environment variable. Get environment variable. Test one has been deleted. This is a very poor freaking example. Oh, did I source it? I tested it, right? DSC 6 admin username. See, it's there. Yeah, no. Maybe I need to set it specific for, yeah, let's set the, oh dear. Oh, these build options are freaking weird because they're like, is there build configuration? Set, oh, let's check it out. Environment variables. Let's do it per deal. Let's try it here. 6 admin username admin. Oh, that's for that though. So I don't want it for that. Can I, oh, there we go. Close it out. Apply default. No, but it says unit test. Let's do that. Unit test and no way to do. Okay. I guess I'm not setting environment variables that way. Let's use the terminal and we'll see if Jetbrains Rider even thinks this exists. Echo. Okay, it's clearly there. It's in the session of the browser. I mean, of the IDE. So this stupid thing needs to run, but it's not. That's not happening. So environment.getEnvironment variable, this thing. Did that? No, that's right. So if I say var result equals system dot environment, was there two? Nope, just the one namespace, and then get command line R environment variable, get folder path from the current process. But it's not in the current process, I guess. Oh, let's see here. Set environment to system process in C#. Set path var, get environment variable path. Set environment variable. Okay, this is some crazy psycho shit. Process start info. I'm throwing something on the Twitters real quick. Maybe somebody has 2 cents on how to fix this or how it's supposed to work. Let's see here. So I did use shell execute. No. Let's see here. System dot environment. Let's just do system dot environment. Oh, that didn't work for shit. No, because I hate these silly feedback forms because they're on every single page. All right. Time to get serious, right? Frustrating. Getting set. Understanding environment variables in C#. That's from 2014. Using system-wide environment variables. Yes, let's do that. System variables, user variables, right. So there's 2 sessions. Local environment variables, system environment variables. Okay, those are set. So it says system environment. Actually, what does that say? Var result equals environment dot current directory. I want to know that too. Yeah. Whoa, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Debug. Here we go. So I'm trying to get, for those that just joined, I'm trying to get an environment variable called this that I know exists. I pulled it here, did a little echo of it. See, boom, there, it exists. But in here, in this, whatever this environment is that this code is running in, doesn't seem to have it. So I'm trying to get it figured out. Well, so result does have a thing. Okay. So current directory is this, which looks correct. But of course, this is still null because for some reason it doesn't think that that's available. Love this VB stuff. It's great. Yeah, so that's kind of useless. Current directory, machine name, new line, host version, expand environment variables, replace the name of each environment. Yeah, you get to see me read the documentation. Drives, yeah. Anybody? Nobody there? Got 5 viewers. Some of y'all got to know how to pull an environment variable in C#, right? So we looked at that. We did that. We're trying to set up the environment variables. The environment variables are there. And the code isn't pulling them. Because, why is the code not pulling them? This I don't even need. Get system environment variable. System environment variable. On Linux. Let's put that on there. See what happens. Nope. Set. And then, so if I do that, let's see what it is. It actually setting it? Var environment dot set environment variable. Let's see. Let's do DSC 6 admin username. And we'll call it new admin. Yeah, that's what the documentation's related to. Haven't really seen anything else that's specific to Linux, I guess, unless I need to pull it in there like OS platform Linux like this or something, which seems ornery at best. Get environment variables method. Environment editor, get environment variables. What is that? Oh, that's writing the whole thing. I don't need to write a thing for it. The library should do it. Anyway, let's see here. What did we get? We got a failure. Actual new admin. Okay, so that sets that environment variable. Does it keep it though? Well, echo. And that's still that at the system. But I'm going to close this. Boop. Is this the same? How do I get environment variables? Something missing, set the value. Get and set, right? So get and set. So it'd be great if anybody had an idea. I am at a loss for words. Linux.NET get environment variable. Yeah, don't really want that. You know, I'm gonna put that in the CLI though. What do we get here? Oh, that's me testing my connection earlier. Let's copy this and change this to our DSC 6 admin username. Oh, I wonder if I need to put the $sign in the code. That would be kind of almost weird. Put that in there on the next build. Build succeeded. Did it do anything though? What happened? Well, let's do console.read key. That should wait and let us hit the init key. Okay, right. It's running. Where's my console? Oh, criminy. Yeah, stop and rerun. Run with debug. Okay, so keep running. Is that the console? Is this what it's printing out? Oh, it's printing out nothing. That's what that's what it's doing. Let's do another just to it ran. What do we get? Build succeeded. It ran. Okay. An enumerator, huh? Well, let's see here. Like console.writeLine environment dot get variables. Actually, let's do this. Variables. Set it, and then for each. Does it do variable and var thing and variables? Do a console.writeLine of thing, right? Okay, so each of those is a dictionary item. So then thing dot let's just say toString. Oops. See what that gives us. It's just dictionary entry. I guess thing. I guess we could do dot count. Yeah, count. Var I is less than variables count. I plus plus. Oh, damn it. Whatever. I don't want to look at each one of them right now. Just look at the debugger. And let's see what we get. So actually, I want that here. Take that one off. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Oh yeah, so that kind of sort of would work if it existed in the overall variables. I'm not really sure what the deal is, but like, okay, so I just ran this in debug, right? So if I go over and look at variables, it has a count of 72. So let's pull this up some. And if we look through, we don't see any of the DSE variables that I've set, right? Yeah, so they're not there. So that's an inherent part of this problem. I don't know why they're not there. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, is how to basically get environment to actually pull it from the system environment instead of whatever this other nonsensical environment is that it's pulling this from. So I guess there's like there's system environment, and then there's working environment variables that are launched via the bash file or whatnot. And I did a source earlier, so I know that the values are in there. So if I do an echo now, an admin, username, boom. See, there's the value. So the value is there. It's in an environment variable. And the system.environment namespace and library isn't pulling the actual environment values. And I'm not entirely sure what the deal is there. So maybe if I type CLI again, .NETcore CLI get environment variable. Oh, let's do it. Variable, and let's add Linux to that. I'm not writing that. I'm doing the not ASP.NET. Use multiple environments. Nope. Writing environment variables, Mac Linux. That is one of the most recent ones I've seen about this stuff. So with current 2.0 API, do not bind to the underlying shell process. Right. So this is kind of likely related to the problem that I'm having right now. They live within the scope of the .NET process, executing the assembly, setting the environment variables, and stop to exist once .NET terminates assembly execution. Using other scopes, user machine on non-Windows platforms is not mapped to this implementation. This is fairly useless for persisting information to be used by other processes. Damn straight. Polar Rapful. But let's hear closed. So what's the fix? What did they do? Mono doesn't implement this. Right. So what about .NET Core though? I do not think that this works. That's not possible. I love these types of threads. Based on the initial misconception on how .NET could hook into the shell, built-in functionality set environments. Scrap the idea. There's no information explaining how this would work when executed on Linux Mac. More PR tests. Oh, whoops, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted either. That's here. If you're still listening, Jeffrey, the reason I have my microphone this way is because the arm won't turn. I need to fix it. Good point, though. Because if I talk like this, it's 1,000 times better. But I digress. I can't turn my head that way all the time. Let's see. It looks like Twitter might have helped some. So Jeffrey says, instead of writing, maintaining software on your own, oh, geez. So no one actually has a solution for this. So I'm going to tweet about it. Because damn it. All right. So here's the issue I'm having mid-stream on this. How do you... And then what was that path? What's this one? So it's github.com/.net/core fx issues 20147. I feel like I should put a flame emoji by it. Also do this. We can add a target. Add the environment process options are no op on Unix. Okay. And those other things aren't available with links, so I feel like I'm going to be writing a PR in a second. Or maybe just an issue. Okay, out of the docs, variable returns garbage string. So use environment vars in dotnetcore. Using Docker environment vars in dotnetcore. I don't want to use that. I want to do... All right, what's Steve Gordon done? Run this stuff. Nope. Yeah, that's pretty vague, dude. It's not really like what you wrote in the thing. All right, so obviously environment variables are a nightmare in .NET Core at this point. If anybody's got any ideas, I am more than happy to go look at where that might be in the docs. I just don't see it anywhere. So anyway, we looked at the Docker stuff. We looked at the marketplace setup. We looked at setting up environment variables, which would work if this were not .NET Core, I guess. I don't know. Reviewed the firewall settings. Basically, it needs to be open to the IP with port 9042 of the cluster so that we can get to it. That's kind of an obvious no-brainer thing, but you know, sometimes you have to write those things down to remember to do them because the obvious things are often the quickest to be forgotten. Logging. I'm going to do logging another time. And then some minor refactoring, etc. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to close this, and I'm going to keep fighting through this thing to see if there's anything else I can do here. So you're getting Linux user, I guess that, yeah, would be user environment variables .NET Core. Variable colon in Linux. I'm writing. Oh yeah, right back to this thing. That's funny. Application paths. Can I set it to the thing? Runtime information. Oh, what's this? To figure out which platform the application is actually running on at runtime, we can use the blah, blah, blah. The following would check for one of the things. Okay. Okay, actually, let's step through this and see what we get. We'll just do some tests here. So first things first, what is runtime information? Does this not exist? Unknown identifier. So what part of the library is it? Does it say in here somewhere? Okay, platform services, runtime framework. Using this. Oops, there we go. Platform services, runtime framework. Actually, I guess I don't really need a using, do I? I need this, and then you need to assign it. Stop blinking everywhere. Platform services. Let's put platform services. Does that not exist? Let's see if we can add that. Add reference. Add from. Nope. Projects. Relevant things. Add existing item reference. Manage NuGet packages. So yeah, no. App domain. Okay. Version 1X of .NET Core ships with that thing. So I guess that doesn't exist anymore then. Now that being said, okay, we're moved soon. This functionality is already available in the BCLs anyway. This means we should be using Microsoft.extensions.platform abstractions. Okay, let's look at that. Microsoft.extensions. No? What do we got here? Okay, I give up on that one. That one's already frustrating. Oh, I knew I should have wrote this in Go, or pretty much something else. Damn it, y'all. Oh, okay. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap that because I don't know where else to look. I'm gonna inquire further about it and see what the deal is. But I have no insight into what .NET Core's deal is with using something as straightforward and simple as environment variables. So I'm gonna terminate that and get on out of here. Anyway, with that said, here's my cool little outro. So cheers.